Hey everybody, Goat here with a video regarding the SMAW versus the RPG. Which one really is better, how do they compare, and basically it's going to boil down to playstyle, but I do want to give it kind of a review and expand on things so you understand where I'm coming from here with that call of it being playstyle. If you are familiar with the video I made that covers the angle of your attack when firing a RPG or, well, really any launcher at a vehicle, you'll know that a 90-degree angle is the best angle to fire at something. So firing at a 90-degree angle from the side here on this tank, you'll take it out in 3 rounds with the RPG. Now, that same shot, should we line up straight from the rear, you'd be able to take it out with 2. Now let me grab a SMAW, and I'll show you how that works with a SMAW. Alright, here I am with a SMAW. We're going to be about basically the same spot. We're going to fire 3 rounds at the side of it. And what I want to cover is that basically the SMAW does slightly less damage. Now when you say slightly, how much does it really matter? Well, 3 shots directly on took it out with an RPG. 3 shots directly on with the SMAW set it on fire. It's still going to blow up, but the guy's going to have a chance to get out of there. So slightly less damage, but still quite effective. Now with an LAV, it actually takes 3 rounds from any side to actually take out an LAV. They kind of spread their armor all the way around, so hitting the side of a tank is just the same as hitting the back of an LAV of all things. But you can see third shot is going to take that LAV out. I'll grab the SMAW and you'll see the similar effects of slightly less damage when I convert over to that. Alright, I'm over here with the SMAW, and we're going to put 3 rounds into the back of it. And I did test this, by the way, and you can test it yourself. That's the handy part of using a test range for this sort of thing. You have nice controlled environment, is that hitting this from the side is going to have the same effect. 3 rounds again, setting the vehicle on fire. It's still going to blow up, you're still going to get that vehicle kill, but, again, slightly less damage. Now let's go to the real nitty-gritty of it, now that we know how much damage we're doing roughly, and that is the flight characteristics of the round itself. Alrighty, we've got the RPG here again, and the big thing with the RPG is while it does hit a little bit harder, the trouble is that the round flies slower and has more of a drop. So off in the distance here, let's see if I just aim the top of the sight right at that tower and I pull, you're going to see it ends up dropping down to the base of the tower itself. Now the fire tower, I'll aim it right there's the red was going to end up on the top of that gun mount, and it doesn't even make it out there. It's end up hitting stuff in the way. So it makes it a little more finesse to use. You have to be able to know your distances to figure out where to lob it in. A little tip with that is, you see that vehicle over there? That's about 100 meters. I know that roughly because there's 100 meters at the B flag, and it's about the same distance away. Now those sights on there, on the RPG, you see the 2 red ones on the side? Line those up with where you want it to I'm laughing because it says sorry. Where you want it to land is will be about 100 meters. So we'll fire off here. It should hit broadside on that vehicle. I'm a little closer to 100, so it's hitting a little high on it, but it gives you a rough estimate of where you want it to land if you're given it a rough estimate of 100 meters. So that makes it very handy for taking stuff out at a distance, but you do have to wait that long for the round to get out there. Alrighty, now I've got the SMAW up, and we're going to aim for that back tower again. Now before I aimed right there with the top of the sight at the top of the gun, you're going to see here, that round's going to make it all the way out there. It's going to hit just below the gun. That's a long ways. And it allows it to fly pretty flat and pretty fast, and it makes it easier to hit things at a distance and to hit things that are moving. So it makes it a lot better of a round for being able to hit things in wide open maps and to catch things on the move. You'll also see why it's one of the more preferred rounds for people that are trying to shoot down aircraft. Now, I'll probably miss here, but you can see it gets pretty darn close. Oh, I did actually hit it. I surprise myself sometimes. It flies so fast it actually can be pretty useful for taking out helicopters and even the occasional jet. It can't hurt to snap one off as long as you have rounds. And again, it does a decent amount of damage against all vehicles. So I'm going to have to say I prefer using the SMAW on most maps, except for a couple of the really close quartered maps where I know I'm going to have that really good shot against a tank or a LAV, and I want to get it in those 2 shots and have no chance of it catching on fire. Because to be honest with you, the majority of the time you're not going to get a perfect shot. You're going to end up with a shot like this. You're going to end up with a shot where the tank's coming at you and you've got to choose to fire here. You're hardly going to do any damage, you're just going to take it off. Now, if you were able to manage to walk right up behind it and fire, that's great. And the best way to do that, and I covered this in my other video, but I'm going to show it again, is we're sneaky right here. We're just saying he's attacking over there, hasn't noticed me. We pitch the 2 mines on the back. Now, you've probably done this before, or if you haven't, those 2 M2 mines, they'll stick to it, and they're going to go off after a while. Well, I want to take him out now before he has a chance to get out and realize I put the mines on. I want to get myself the kill. So I put him on the back like that, and it doesn't matter that I'm off at an angle. I'll put the rounds in the back. That RPG does damage and sets the 2 mines off. I've still got, I'm sorry, not RPG, but SMAW. You could use any launcher. I've still got a bunch of mines left to use. I can do it again, and it only took me 1 rocket, and he had no warning that it was coming. So Goat's opinion on things is the SMAW is probably the better all-around, but you can use the RPG in specialized instances where you know you've got an easy shot. One more thing I did want to mention, and that's use against infantry. Now, in a lot of games, you can use a rocket launcher and land it at their feet and get yourself a kill. Well, unless you hit infantry directly with your launcher, as you can see, that left me with 44% health and a long reload. So, even pointing it right at my own feet, the SMAW does not kill you in 1 shot. I'm going to switch over to the RPG real quick and show that it acts pretty much the same. Back with the RPG, and when I aim right at my feet, actually, there's my old dead body. I'm going to aim right at my dead body's feet. Oh, there it goes. And we'll pull the trigger. Still, 44% health left. And they're just really not meant for anti-infantry. You can use them if you hit one dead center, someone, it will take them out. I've done it a couple times just out of humor to take out a sniper because they irritated me and I landed behind them parachuting in or something. But not that handy for taking out infantry. Very good against vehicles. I, at this point, have switched to using the SMAW on most maps except for a couple of small ones like Dawnbreaker and possibly Siege of Shanghai. Because you have the nice tight corners, you don't have to lead too far because there aren't that many long shots. Well, if this is interesting to you, go ahead and give us a like, favorite, and subscribe if you would. And if there's anything else you'd like to see, you can leave us a comment, or you can hit us up on Twitter at Goat and Hog there.